Great. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining today's OneSignal webinar on push notifications for gaming specifically. As a quick agenda, first, my name is Eira Jakuma. I'm a customer success manager here at OneSignal. So I work with a lot of our kind of medium and enterprise customers on better understanding the OneSignal system and also just helping them achieve their kind of company-wide goals in terms of customer engagement. So for today, we are going to cover kind of a quick overview of what push notifications are. Then we'll get into push notifications for gaming specifically. And then we're actually going to go through 5 key tips with examples for notifications for the gaming industry. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with some question and answer just to get any of all those burning questions answered, hopefully, while we have you today. So first, here is the push notification overview. So I readily admit that this is going to be probably review for most of you, but just to make sure that we're all on the same page, wanted to kind of provide a quick overview of what a push notification actually is. So push notifications are messages that are pushed from a server and pop up on a user's device, even if the app or website is not running. So as you all probably know, push notifications are a powerful re-engagement tool, and they provide kind of actionable information and at the right times to subscribers. So the key there as well is, what is an actual subscriber? So just to be clear on that, subscribers are devices that opt in to receive push notifications. So those are kind of the main audience of users that you reach with the push notification, is anyone that has officially subscribed or opted in. And today we're finding that push notifications are the most important communication channel for mobile apps specifically. So getting into push notifications for gaming apps. So actually we've found that push notifications have become the #1 marketing tool for mobile gaming apps today, which is great. What we found is that actually user retention improves by about 15 to 20% for gamers receiving notifications than those without. Those are pretty large numbers. Obviously, I think for the gaming industry, it is focused on not only just getting new users, but also retaining those current users. And finally, we also see that notifications for gaming actually improve the user's overall experience of your app. So, part of that is why, they will keep coming back or make recommendations. But we find that any of your users that are opted into notifications typically will rate your app a little bit higher and have a better general experience. So actually, I wanted to kind of highlight a quick OneSignal fun fact. We actually started out as gaming developers ourselves. So you can see our co-founders here, George and Long. But they were actually gaming app developers that were developing various games, and they wanted an easy way to send push notifications to engage their game users. But finding that there was no good solution, they decided to just actually build OneSignal, and today we're the market leader. So today we're trusted by over 1 million developers and marketing teams, around the world. So I wanted to include that. I think, we have a kind of fun kindred or kinship with gaming apps and gaming developers, because we still sort of feel like we're one, even though we're not quite anymore. But just a little bit of a history lesson for OneSignal and how we came out of the gaming industry directly as well. Perfect. So now moving into key tips and examples. So obviously these are going to be focused on engagement and retention, because I know that's kind of the big things in terms of thinking of mobile apps and what you guys are focused on, mobile gaming apps specifically. So the first thing to remember is keep your notifications fun. I love gaming notifications because games are fun, and so your messages should be fun too. You can keep them cheeky and quirky, and obviously, we like to say it's best to keep them kind of short and punchy, which adds to the funness. Typically we find that notifications between, I believe it's about 10 to 20, or I think it's 20 to 90 characters actually get the highest click-through rates. So that's not too long. So, keep them short and punchy. And then another thing that adds a little fun element is that adding sounds to your notifications can kind of actually make them feel like users are still in the game. It's a really, really fun element so that when you get a notification, it sounds exactly like the game. So for example, if, maybe it's a jeweler app, and every time you send a notification to your game players and you include that kind of jewel sound with the notification, it makes them feel like they're still in the game or kind of entices them to get back in the game. So over here on the right, I highlighted some fun examples from Gaming Simon Circles. It's a fun gaming app. If you guys haven't played, I encourage you to try it out. But they actually, sent some really funny notifications. This first one, they're kind of being cheeky about one of their own employees. So they're apologizing. We would like to apologize for our developer, Chad, who has been sending push notifications to players that beat his high score. Pretty funny, keeping it light. And then the second one here, I like it a lot because it's like, bro, seriously, are you cheating? To someone that has a high score. And the reason I like this notification is because it feels like it was just a friend that sent you that notification and not a gaming app itself. And again, the fun thing, since your games are fun, you don't have to take yourselves too seriously. And if you keep your messages fun and light and punchy, your click-through rates will generally be pretty high, and it's good for continuity and feeling just like the game itself. So always remember to keep your notifications fun. Next, we want to hone in on personalizing your notifications to actually the user's gameplay itself. So user achievements or milestones actually provide a lot of good content for engagement and for push notifications. So you can showcase the level or a new item of attainment. You can showcase high scores, rewards. All of these kind of gameplay actions and achievements are actually great to use in notifications and are great for personalization. So you can customize these messages and personalize them to kind of pull users back into your game. And finally, one thing to keep in mind too is that you can actually trigger these notifications or send them out based on when these milestones are achieved. So maybe anytime a user hits level 10 of your app, that's a pretty big milestone. And maybe the next, to level 25 is another big milestone. You can send actually those notifications directly when they hit them automatically. I think that's a great way to always kind of keeping your messages personalized. So over here in the image on the right, you'll see that we kind of highlighted a notification from one of our actual current customers, LBC Studios. And again, kind of going back to keeping it fun, the first one is really fun. They're like, booyah, you've reached level 2. But again, this is personalized to the user itself. And then they also use the user's actual first name. Congrats, Jane. You unlocked a special feature. It's great that they're kind of keeping it personalized exactly with the user's achievements. All right. So always try your best to keep your notifications personalized to the actual gameplay. Again, that provides you with a lot of content for those notifications. All right. Next, encourage friendly competition. So this is a great one. You can inform your users about how other players are beating them in their favorite games. So this is great to kind of motivate users to keep playing to score higher. So what you're doing is effectively challenging your users to kind of step up and beat someone else. So you're kind of actually gamifying competition, which is great. Again, kind of keeping everything fun and light with your game. But a great thing about encouraging friendly competition is that it helps kind of create a stronger connection to the game through the user's own social network. So you can see here on the right an example, Clash of Knights. They've got a new challenge, but they also make sure to highlight to play together with friends. And then at the bottom here, I highlighted a few additional examples because I think, taking it one step further than just saying play with your friends, you can actually, once your user has a group of friends in your game, you can actually use those names and their scores and send them notifications directly about that. So as an example, here's one. It says, Christy just beat your all-time score. Don't let her get away with it. Or another great one is, Lawrence just beat level 30. There's still time for you to catch up. So these are great ways to encourage competition and kind of, challenge your users to step up and get back into your game and play. All right. And next we have inform users of updates. So this is a great one. Actually keeping it pretty straightforward. You can actually just provide direct updates about new app developments or any new changes that you've made to your game. These can be as simple as new levels that you've added, new tools or weapons, or even maybe some cool secret shortcuts that they can try. But anytime you're doing something new and exciting with your game, you should definitely let your users know, because that could be kind of the next big thing to bring them back into the game to keep playing. So it entices them to explore the new features and updates. And once they're in, hopefully you can keep them engaged in playing. But again, this kind of helps to build an overall better player experience by keeping your users informed of what you're doing and the improvements that you are making to the game itself. So you can see here some examples. In Clash of the Clans, we have air defense has been upgraded to level 3. And then a good Candy Crush one. I know I was probably addicted to Candy Crush a few years ago, so it's an old favorite of mine. But this one says, you now have full lives. Tap here to continue your saga. So this is an update that's actually, based on kind of what I've done or my levels, but it's a great update to have me kind of get back in and keep playing. But again, it doesn't necessarily have to be just about the user's kind of own usage within the game. I think anytime you provide a new feature or add something very cool in your gaming app, you should let your users know. All right, moving on to the fifth kind of key tip here, we have incorporate your game rich media. So what this means here, rich media is just any images, GIFs, video, audio, and even action buttons. But the great thing about, mobile app games is generally you guys have some of the best kind of graphics and videos around. The games are really bright, colorful. They pull you in with the images and graphics. And you can actually use those same images and graphics in your notifications. So we encourage you to do that because in this example on the right, Shadow Fight 3, part of what entices people to that game are the graphics itself and how cool they look. And why not just reuse that, same content that you kind of already have? It makes your notifications visually engaging, just like your game. And it also creates a, kind of nice continuity as well. But I think, these examples with Shadow Fight are great. They're talking about getting your daily rewards or returning to the adventure, but showing you either, some of the kind of users that maybe you've created or people that you might be fighting within the game directly to kind of bring you back in. They've also done a good job of using action buttons. And so for those of you that don't know, action buttons are just a way for you to actually ask kind of or provide options for your users with a notification, or maybe a way to ask more than one question. Generally, notifications end up being just one way. You send a message and you click it, but as you can see here, action buttons actually provide you with a few options on what you might want to do to claim your reward, launch the game, or dismiss. So it's a kind of a clever way to keep things interesting as well. But rich media is your friend. Again, I think, you guys are kind of the best out there in terms of very cool images and graphics, and definitely encourage you to incorporate those into your notifications as well. Perfect. So those were the 5 tips. I wanted to highlight just a few more quick ones. Some of these you may be already aware of, but wanted to quickly go through them as well. Promotions always make great notifications. Maybe offering 20% off on buying, 10 coins is a great way to get people back to your app and playing the game. Another great idea is to incorporate holidays and big events into your notifications. So even if you don't think they like apply to your game at all, you can always kind of in a fun way relate whatever big event that's going on right now in the world, or kind of fun holiday into your game. As you can see here on the right, LBC Studios, they kind of created their own fun Super Bowl promotion, to play the game. They've kind of, called it the Mega Lit Bowl. Let's get in there and play. And it's around the same time as the Super Bowl. But some other good, fun holidays, and maybe I should put holidays in quotes, but holidays that people don't maybe initially think about can be really fun for games. So, Valentine's Day that we just had last month. And then I know St. Patrick's Day is coming up in a few weeks, and even Halloween. These are great ways to create notifications around those events and holidays, and, kind of sneakily apply them to your games to get people to come back and play. And then finally, it's always good to create a sense of urgency sometimes with your notifications. You can kind of tying back to the promotions, you can offer limited time offers, or say, you only have a weekend to beat the top score, right? So those are fun ways to kind of get people to get in there sooner rather than later and play your game by creating a sense of urgency, with your notification. So that is all of the tips that we had today. I wanted to pause here to see if there were any questions. Oops, it looks like there may have been a question, but what I'll do is I'm gonna allow you all to talk so that you can talk directly, or if you want, you can send a notification in the question and answer, which it looks like maybe somebody did, but I'm just having problems bringing it up. Hang on just one moment. I think my window is a little bit too big here. So let me see. Okay, so one question we have here is, for message sounds, can I upload any sound I want, or are there presets in OneSignal / the operating systems? Great question, Christy. You can actually upload any sound that you want. So we actually don't have presets within OneSignal for sounds, but we do offer you the chance to upload any sound that you like directly. So this is a great way to, like I mentioned, kind of customize the notification, personalize it, and make it fun. So any sounds that you might already have in your game, you can actually upload that directly and attach it to a notification essentially to send out. So you can attach it to every notification, or maybe what we've noticed some people do is maybe for specific or special notifications, maybe around special promotions or maybe high score of the day, you would create a sound specific for those. So that way users know kind of what that message is about. But really good question. Again, we don't have presets, but you can actually add any sound that you like and simply upload it into the system and then send away. Perfect. Are there any other questions that you guys had? Okay, great. Looks like we have a couple coming through. And then one question, the first question is there any way to know who opted in / out of receiving push notifications? Good question. So we know who opted in by them being categorized as a subscriber. So maybe it's easy if I hop really quickly within OneSignal to show you guys. Hopefully, I believe I'm still sharing my screen. So I'll quickly go into our demo app here. All right. And so you can see who like the number of subscribers are, which you're probably familiar with. And if you go to our audience tab in all users, you can actually see who's subscribed and perhaps who has not subscribed. You can see that here. So that was sort of getting to your question about seeing who has opted in or out. You can't necessarily always tell who is opted in. It's always going to be a little bit easier to know who is subscribed because that's kind of your general group that you're able to message or notify. But we do categorize who perhaps is unsubscribed or not subscribed here in the audience all users tab within OneSignal. Perfect. And then I think there was one other question. One other question was, could you speak a little bit about push notifications and annoyance? Ooh, really good question. So that's a fun one. Yeah. So I think, especially with the gaming industry, one thing we have noticed is that sometimes you can send just too many push notifications, which can get annoying. I think it was I forgot the game, but maybe they were sending about 4 to 5 notifications in one day, which is going to be kind of a lot for one person, right? If you're getting 5 notifications about the same game all in one day, that's probably going to be a bit too much. We would generally recommend only sending about 2 to 3 notifications per day. And then even then, you might want to space it out every other day. Again, it sometimes depends with games because we do encourage you to send notifications around users' own gamification and their own gameplay. So for instance, maybe I could be in the app playing a lot one day and I reach 2 levels. Maybe I'd get some additional notifications about that, or I'd get a notification about unlocking some coins. So it could go up depending on the user's kind of activity, but definitely want to always keep in mind, not sending more than maybe about 4 to 5 notifications per day. And one of the cool things at OneSignal is we're actually working on a feature where you can kind of limit the number of notifications that an individual will receive in one day. So we should have that out soon, which kind of actually gives you a little bit more control on how many notifications one person might be getting. All right. And then there were a couple of other questions on, do you have any ideas about the optimal number of push notifications? Okay, I think I sort of answered that. Yeah, I would say generally for mobile apps and mobile gaming, 2 to 3 is probably going to be a good optimal, 2 to 3 per day. Try not to go too much over that. And then finally, another question was, do you have any suggestions about the timing of a push notification regarding a promotion? Now that is a really good one. So it's gonna depend on when the promotion is or how long you want it to last. So, I think some of the promotions that we see that work best, they are for a limited time. So for instance, maybe they're only for a weekend. So 2 days, like Saturday and Sunday, right? Or maybe you send out the notification Friday morning, but it will end, Sunday night, after 11:59 p.m., right? So it's only going to be a weekend. And then other good ideas for promotions are even shorter time limits, just like maybe one day or even a few hours. You have, you know, unlock 50 coins within the next 2 hours if you get to level 3, or all users can unlock 10 coins within the next 30 minutes. These will sometimes work, but again, it just depends on if you're reaching the user at the right time and if they have ability to kind of get in and then perhaps unlock the coin. But I encourage you guys to play around with the timing of those kind of promotions, but definitely do keep the promotions to a limited time. And I guess maybe the other point about timing with promotions is kind of knowing when to send out the first notification about the promotion. Again, you don't want to send it out too early. Maybe only a day before or the day of when the promotion starts. Again, we do want to create urgency and kind of that idea of feeling exclusive for those people that do get the notification and do get to take advantage of it. So, I think the good thing is if you do a promotion once, you can always do another one. Maybe you didn't think as many people took advantage or people missed it. This again kind of creates that exclusivity and that excitement around your game and getting the chance to maybe get another promotion or unlock it by reaching a certain level. So, you'll always have another opportunity to do another one. And then maybe finally, I would say notifications around holidays. Generally, I would probably, holidays are big events. Again, I would probably send out the first notification a day or two before the big event, and then maybe have it go just during that big event or holiday time period. So hopefully that covered all of those questions around kind of promotions, timing, and kind of general ideas around how many push notifications might be too many. But yeah, did you guys have any other questions or Anything else that I can shed some light on, especially particularly to the gaming sector and gaming or mobile gaming industry. I can hop back in here if you like. All right, perfect. I think that was everything from everyone. Hopefully, I got to all of the questions. But thank you all so much for joining today. Definitely appreciate your time. We encourage you to take some of these tips. And one plug that I might actually provide is that we do have a good blog post that actually our CEO George wrote, basically on everything you'd need to know about mobile gaming apps and notifications. It includes information not only about push notifications, but even about in-app messages and some of the kind of technical or more technical nuances as well. But you can easily find it on our website on onesignal.com. Head to the blog section, and you'll kind of find a very extensive write-up on kind of even more tips that are specific to your sector and industry. Perfect. Thank you again for joining. We'll definitely follow up with this webinar recording probably in about a day or so. And then hopefully we'll look forward to you joining additional webinars and being a long-standing OneSignal customer, or hopefully a new OneSignal customer. Thanks so much for joining.